Hey.
Hello.
7 months later.
Welcome back.
Here we are.
Two gingers. What's our intro? Two gingers, one real, one fake. We're not telling you which.
Yeah, try to guess.
Welcome back to Ginger Unscripted.
Where we yap.
I'm Dorothy Mannine.
I'm Zach Cowan.
Yeah. Did you think for a second? That's been getting me in trouble because the username is Cowman. So I get
I
get legal
I was
documents.
going to do Zachary.
That's an embarrassing story. One time I was, so you know this, I used to work for a business coach and I used to help them in their sales funnel. And he would do retreats once a year. And so we would just go to a resort somewhere abroad and work there and then do little team building stuff and whatever. Okay. And they would bring their wives and we were playing volleyball and we had already separated the team. I was like, cool. So our team is Jack, Jim, Lou, and then I turned to one of the wives, and I knew her name. Uh-oh. But do you ever have a split second when you're about to say someone's name, and is what just happened? Yes. And then so I covered it up and I was like, and our captain here, and she immediately called me, and she's like, you don't know my name, and then I was so embarrassed. I was like, no, I do,
and it is. You didn't know.
I did know. I just don't want to say it, but it was the fear of getting it wrong that prevented me.
Yeah. Totally understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know down below your most embarrassing story of being afraid to get someone's name wrong.
Someone said in the comments of our last video that tell us in the comments should be a drinking game.
Yes.
Every time that we say, tell us in the comments, you guys take a shot.
That's in my vlogs too. I'm like, let me know down below. And then in my most recent one, I was like, no one's letting me know down below.
At least you guys are very reliable for that.
Thank
you
do
leave wonderful questions.
Yeah.
And we're going to answer a bunch of those today, 7 months later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, all right. People are wondering about the fact that we went to Mexico because that was the last people heard.
Oh, yeah. Did we die?
Going to Mexico.
I almost did.
Oh, yeah.
You forget about that?
I did.
Why would you remember? I got food poisoning for the first time in my life.
The final day of the trip.
In Mexico.
Right? Yeah.
And the problem was that I stopped drinking. So instead of drinking, I started eating because you got to do one or the other on your birthday.
Naturally.
And I had late night, buffet nachos.
Yeah.
But I wasn't even that crazy. It was just nachos and cheese. And then I just woke up in the middle of the night and just had a time. Thankfully, Dorothy was with me and she's such a trooper. And so she just helped out the next day. I was I couldn't even stand in line. You somehow found a banana. I could not find a banana. You found one in the airport for me.
Oh.
I went and looked around and I was I'm just looking for a banana, because that's when I learned about the brat diet. When you have food poisoning, it's bananas, rice, applesauce, toast.
So, I had a lot of toast when I had food poisoning, so that checks out.
And that was rough because that was a long travel day because...
Yeah. You were a trooper, though. For the morning after food poisoning, he was he was handling it very well.
I was struggling. You know me pretty well now at this point. It's Italian of us. I am at my worst if I am just thugging it. Just nothing. The mask is on. Nobody can tell. I'm not speaking. I'm just locked in like this. That's how you know I'm truly, truly struggling.
You held up well though. He's not a complainer though. Anybody could have been oh God, I feel like shit.
I was bitching when we were waiting in the line on the way back in.
Yes.
They only had 2 people, so you have to go through customs obviously when you're coming back.
That was a brutal line.
And it was we were in that line for an hour and a half. And it's all they had to do was just take your photo.
And it was hot.
It was so hot.
So hot.
And I don't believe in checking bags personally, so I just have one heavy ass bag.
That was brutal. That was even brutal for me. So
yeah, it was rough. And then I'm not bougie like Dorothy. Dorothy is in complimentary. Bougie parentheses complimentary. I am frugal parentheses trauma. That's me. So I don't pay for airport parking, and I also don't want to Uber. Right. So I drove us, and I do an off-brand lot that shuttles you there and back. But the only downside of it, because the shuttle on the way there was totally fine, right? I don't know if you remember. We got there, and the shuttle was right there.
Yeah.
And then we were totally fine. But coming on the way back, you got to call a number, and it was late or whatever. But this is how I could tell I was really struggling. because the way LAX works, they changed the Uber system. If you want to take a regular Uber, you have to like take a bus to a section. But because capitalism, if you call like an Uber X, they let them come to the thing. Directly. And I looked at Dorothy, and it's only like 10 minutes away. I was like, I'm calling the Uber Black to get us to our car. I'm not taking a shuttle. Drive. Yeah, that's how I knew I was struggling. Yeah. We just got in a fancy Uber just to go like a mile and a half down the road to get to my car. And then I drove us home.
And then you had to drive.
And then I went and just made a big bowl of tomato soup.
Tomato soup?
Well, I needed soup, because my stomach. All I had the whole day was a banana.
Do you guys like tomato soup?
I love tomato soup.
The only tomato soup I've ever liked in my entire life is at medieval times.
That's fair.
I hate all other tomatoes.
Let me make some tomato soup. Tomato soup and grilled cheese? Ooh.
Yeah.
But it was because I remember
mostly the grilled cheese that's really the star of that show.
I like tomato soup. Call me crazy. But I remember I went home and I sat in the shower. I think just like I couldn't even stand. I just sat contemplating life. And then I was like, I need to eat. I've only had a banana. So I just had tomato soup. But wait, we were supposed to talk about Mexico, and I talked about food poisoning.
Well,
what did they want to know? They just want to know about.
That was a big part of it.
Well, you tell us about your experience in Mexico.
They wanted to know how
you were popular there.
Sure, I guess.
You were recognized. You remember the kids who wanted to talk to you? Well, kids. They were like 20.
No, I don't. But this was 7 months ago. My memory's been wiped.
So we were at a resort. We were in like the Tulum area. We were with my family and Dorothy.
Very nice.
Who everybody loved Dorothy.
His family is lovely.
And I, in a true Zach nature, was very extroverted that first day.
He was friends with everybody.
Well, I was Zach on tequila is going to be friends with everybody.
Everybody knew this guy. He would walk by and everybody was dapping him up.
Well, that's just because the first day I got the worst sunburn of my life because I was just shirtless by the pool and I forgot my regular swim trunks, so I only had my hoochie daddy ones the whole trip. So just imagine me in like my Miami version of Zach of just like open button down hoochie daddy shorts. I had a couple chains on, and the way that all-inclusive resorts work is you pay up front and then you get to have everything unlimited. Doesn't matter. And so of course I was taking a ton of tequila shots, and that's how you make friends. But she's saying I was popular. There was a group of people, maybe they're watching this. What's up, guys? And they clocked her right away.
Oh, they will, and they were a part of your new friend group,
well,
right?
Yes, but only because the first time I was doing shots, they were there for a birthday. It was like a couple couples and some of their friends, and they asked me about you. They were like, "Wait," one of the girls was like, Is that's Dorothy Mannine? Are you with her? And I was like, oh, yeah. Da, da, da. So those people were friends with me because they wanted to be friends with you.
That's nonsense.
And that last night, they came up to us while we were playing pool.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, hey, I'm so sorry, but like my girlfriend's such a fan.
Right,
Can she talk to your girlfriend? And I was like, I'm not even going to correct you. Just go up to it, And then they kind of trapped you in a conversation.
That's right. I do remember. She was very drunk.
They were all, they were like 21.
Yeah,
22.
they were having a time. Yeah, good peeps.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, actually.
She was still working out, bro. Like that first day, we went to the gym and you were doing sprints.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what that was.
And she didn't want to work out with me. I had to like go to the other side of the gym.
Okay, tell us in the comments. My idea of working out with somebody at the gym is we arrive at the gym together, and then we go our separate ways, and then we say, like, we'll do little check-ins.
And
like,
we did that.
You're doing good. And then
But we worked out together during the fires, remember?
We did actually
went to LA Fitness, and I almost got beat up. I've been going to this. It was LA Fitness on Hollywood Boulevard. And I don't mind putting it on blast because I do love them. Oh, and you've met the gym owner, who I love. If you're out there, I haven't been able to see her because I don't go there anymore. But I had been going there for like 3-4 years, no issues, 0 issues. Dorothy, we had some fires here. Her gym was closed. She's like, I need to work out. I was like, come with me. I got guest passes, and there was just this giant of a dude, like a steroid guy, and he had beef with me, bro.
He had so much beef
for no and I was trying to be so nice, and then he was bringing Dorothy into it, and I was like, you're telling on yourself, bro, because he's like, you're doing too much because your girl's here. I was like, how do you even know she's with me? She's not even near us. And they were having a bad time.
Yeah.
But we worked out together that day. It was fun.
We did, but I remember telling you preemptively, this is not typically my vibe. But I'm willing to give it a try because you said.
And how did it go?
You said you would really have my leg day in for a treat.
Yeah.
And it was good. My quads were very sore.
Yeah. So.
But would I do that like frequently or?
Yeah. No.
I get like no.
I think I'm somewhere in the middle. Like it's nice to like do your other things or whatever, but I do think working out with someone, you can help push each other.
Yeah, I see that. I also just think it takes like twice the amount of time that like when I go to the gym, I can be like,
well, you got to be on the right wavelength because I like a in and out in under an hour.
You also like were doing other things too.
In between.
A lot of times people are just like standing around while you're doing the set. And
well, that's what got me in trouble because I was trying to superset. We were doing back extensions together, and then I went over to the calf machine, and I had 45s on each side, not too heavy. But like Dorothy went to ask me a question, so I laid it down and I didn't. If you guys know how the way the calf machine works is like you're sitting in it and you raise your calves, but I didn't fully reset it. It was all the way down. And then I went to talk to Dorothy, and then this guy went over to the machine, and I thought he worked there because he was wearing gloves and he had like a rag, not just a paper towel, like a full-on cleaning rag. And my phone was nearby, and I could tell he was like, there were two machines. He was sussing it out with the other guy. So I walk up. I'm like, hey, man, you want me to move my phone? First words out of his mouth, well, don't touch it if it's not yours. I'm like...
He had immediate attitude.
Immediate
like, for
aggro.
no reason whatsoever.
And I was like, no, it's mine. Do you want me to get out of the way? He's like, well, you're using this? And I was like, I was, but like, you know me. I'm like, I'll go somewhere else. Like, I'm like, you're welcome to use it. So I thought he was going to use it, and I don't reset the weight. I leave it as is, and he's gigantic. There's no way he could lift this up with 2 fingers. So then I move over. I'm talking to Dorothy. I switch over to split squats, whatever. A girl comes up to the machine, and she can't reset it because it's too heavy. And so she also immediately gets aggro. And she's like, some effing a-hole left this down, whatever. And then he comes over. It's clear he doesn't know how the machine works, and he's like, doesn't quite know. And so they're just kind of cursing up a storm. And I'm like this far away. Like I'm real close. And so I eventually they're just going and they're like, who did it? So I'm like, well, I gotta address this. So I just go like, oh, I was like, that's my mistake. I'm sorry for not resetting it. I thought he wanted to use it. And he's just like, you are doing too much, bro. You need to stop. You need to stop talking to me right now. And I'm like, all right, I'm trying to diffuse.
Just stop, bro. Just stop.
And I was like, all right, man, that's my bad. And then they're just like mad, circle jerking each other.
Literally in the corner, they're both like, those fucking shit, stupid little. Just doing like the little where it's just loud enough where we can obviously hear them. Yeah. But they're still trying to act like they're just talking to each other.
And I'm 3 feet away, and Dorothy's right there too. And then they're just going, and he's like all mad. So I'm like, I have to say something. I'm right here. And I just went like, I was like, yeah, man, that's my bad. Like I would have reset. And he's like, you just got to stop talking to me. You're doing too much because your girl's here. And as soon as he said that, I was like, okay. So she was not a part of this conversation. You would not know that Dorothy and I were together. We were not even next to each other. I was like, so what happened is you are attracted to Dorothy and you're upset about that, I guess. And I don't know.
Oh, man.
So she worked out in Mexico. She did sprints.
Yeah. That's probably the last time I've done sprints in the last 7 months.
Why would you do sprints in Mexico?
I don't know.
She didn't get drunk once.
That's...
Not even for my birthday.
I did drink.
That's not what I said.
I know the first day I actually...
Yeah, we all got a little tips.
Yeah, the first day I was
and I got
strong.
A real bad sunburn.
Yeah, because we were out. We were just
out the whole day, and I had been doing. I made a mistake. Start with a cream base, then move because I had the spray stuff. Then move on to the spray, and I'm a Ginger Unscripted. But that's how Mexico was. It was a great time. My family's in love with Dorothy. They would already ask about her prior to this trip because I told you my mom watches everything you do. But now I will never escape the Dorothy allegations.
Honestly, hanging out with his family was pretty much just like hanging out with my family. Yeah. Like his mom and my mom, if you put them in the same room, you'd be like,
Mom
women,
podcast
these
when
women could be sisters. Their personalities
that's when I knew we would be fine. Like as soon as we met having the same aunt, and I was like, oh, she'll have fun. And I was like, I knew my whole family would appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
And we had fun. I don't think what are some other things people would want to know? There was no fights, no bickering.
No.
Have we ever fought in the entire relationship?
No.
Yeah. I don't even think so. Because we're both like confrontational. Like, I feel like you could just be like, hey, I didn't like that. And I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what we would like fight about.
I feel like I would probably just have to do something stupid.
I
think that's what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. Get drunk and spill a secret. You don't want me to spill?
Spill a secret.
Anyways, welcome back. Do we need to do an intro in case this is somebody's first episode?
We did an intro.
Well,
I said we yap.
This is our podcast. This is a candid, unscripted conversation.
Yes.
We like to answer all your guys' questions while going on, and then usually we have a few for each other.
Yeah. And then we just kind of tangent in between.
Yeah. And we're sorry for the delay. I'm sorry, Dorothy. I don't know. I can't speak for you.
I am sorry. And you guys are probably wondering.
We shouldn't be saying sorry. It's people pleaser. Thank you for being patient.
I think it's valid in this situation to apologize.
I'm so sorry.
Because, you guys are probably wondering.
Yeah.
Zach, Dorothy, what the fuck have you been doing the last 7 months?
That's my first 7-month update. Tell them what you've been doing.
What have you been doing if you haven't been podcasting? And the answer is there was probably plenty of opportunities for us to podcast. Matter of fact, we scheduled several days, but then,
we scheduled
life
more
happens.
Than just last one?
Yeah.
We canceled?
There was definitely multiple times in between. We were like, yeah, we'll do it this day. And then
I feel comfortable blaming Dorothy.
I can embrace that.
I'm kidding. No, I think you were really busy, and then you had a brief amount of time where you were free, but then I was busy.
Yes. Yeah. That is very often the case. Is I'll be shooting things back to back.
Yeah.
And then
you've been booked and busy.
When I'm not, he's out of town.
Yeah.
And then when he comes back in town.
Yeah.
There's sometimes little windows.
Well, what have you been up to the last 7 months? Tell the people. You've been doing, a vertical queen.
Well, we'll acknowledge the elephant in the room is you guys are like, what's this background? This is new.
I forgot about that.
I moved. You don't get to know where. But I moved. I'm no longer in the same place. So
Berkeley, California.
Actually, I live in Texas now.
Whoa, that's pretty good.
Well, thank you. So yeah, we're in my new apartment, and we're still figuring out the setup, but we're on a couch now. So, hey, couch.
All right, so you moved.
I moved.
If that was like your only thing that kept you busy, that is legit. But there has been much more.
Yeah, I've also, I've been shooting a lot of those
non-stop
little vertical things.
Non-stop.
Yeah.
I'm not even just saying that to say that. This is the first time that you have not been filming in the last 7 months.
Yeah, I intentionally took the past couple of weeks off. I was like,
and then you did some traveling.
Yes, I went to Big Bear, went skiing. Mm-hmm. Where else did I go?
Did I go other places? You were with your mom somewhere, right?
Yeah, Big Bear.
No.
Did we go somewhere?
Didn't you do in the last 7 months? Haven't you done something else? Didn't you go to Florida or something?
Did I?
I think so.
I have no memory.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That sounds about right.
But a lot of work, moving. Yeah.
Nice. I'm trying to think, what have I been up to? Did I do traveling in the last 7 months?
You went to San Francisco a lot.
Oh yeah, I do. Sometimes I go up, but that's like quick. People think I'm crazy for that because I'll drive up
for that. Yeah.
Work for an hour or two, and drive back down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll leave my house at 5 or 6 a.m. and then I'm back by 10 p.m.
Insane.
I like driving. And I am too much of a people pleaser to crash, bother a friend just to crash for a night, and it's during the week.
How do you just not get sleepy? That's what I want to know. For that long of a drive twice. But even
I did
with
recently.
caffeine,
I did recently get caffeine pills.
Oh yeah, I've met a couple people that have been doing that.
I
lately,
only do that for the long drives.
Yeah.
And I'll stick to, just one, sometimes two. But one, I like driving. I'm one of those weird.
I like driving too.
I
just get very sleepy.
See, if I'm the one driving, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But caffeine, and then I love audiobooks and podcasts.
I do.
So I just will get an audiobook I'm excited about, and then the time flies.
What kind of audiobooks do you? Is it fiction?
It's all fantasy. Somebody sent me a TikTok the other day because I whenever people say oh, are you a reader? And I'm like, yeah, but I only do fantasy. You read smart people books. I'm working my way through the book you gave me.
I also love fantasy.
No, it's good to love both, but I only read that.
I think there's
I don't venture
great
off
room
into
for
smart people
life
stuff.
improvement from reading fiction.
Yeah,
books.
Someone sent me that TikTok where it was
Yes.
my friend who says they only read fantasy, and it was showing about whatever.
It develops empathy. I think it's great for
Sometimes
mind
I have a
expansion.
good vocabulary, I think,
Yes,
because of that.
Totally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Read your fiction books.
But
kids.
I don't know. You guys let me know below. The last
Tell us in the comments.
the last 2 years though, I don't know if it should count as reading. I have stopped. I used to love reading. I still love reading, but I shifted to audiobooks.
That's great.
Because I can do more things. Like when I'm reading, I'm only reading.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I have other stuff to do.
Yeah.
But with my audiobook, I can go for a drive.
Yeah.
I can do other stuff, whatever. But I don't know if that counts.
It does.
Does it?
I'm only a nighttime book reader. Okay. So I just read right before bed to help me go to sleep peacefully for paper books. And then the rest I do audio as well.
Let me ask you then, have we already talked about this? If audiobooks count as reading, does listening to a podcast count as reading?
No.
What's the difference?
It's a book and it's not a book.
Okay. What if it's a podcast where they're talking about a book and like reading excerpts from it and then like extrapolating past it?
The part that is them specifically reading the book parts is book.
Okay. That sounds like a fair distinction to me.
That's my logic.
What else have I done? I guess a couple SF trips, had my birthday, did some holiday stuff with the family. Went to see my grandpa and my aunt in Vegas over the holidays.
Oh, yeah, I guess we did do all that.
Yeah, there was the holidays. And then this year, hey, guy, just been dealing with like work and like occasional auditions and, you know, getting all my business things together. And that's about it, I guess.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go to Florida soon, potentially.
Ooh.
Yeah, my sister wants to go.
Fun.
New York at some point this year.
Great.
That's about it. 7 months. You're all caught up. I live a very boring life.
It's not boring.
It's not boring to me, but I don't.
We will try to not have it be 7-month gaps.
Yeah. Were we doing good at a month for a little bit? Or
you know what's funny? I think literally the last podcast, we were like, we're going to do monthly.
You know, I can't go live without people asking me about this. So.
We really appreciate you guys being patient.
But do people ask about the podcast to you when you're live streaming?
Yeah.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I've just been like shoveling the blame off to you. Anytime anyone asks, I'm like, go ask Dorothy. But then you have to say, go ask Zach. And then,
okay. I'll make sure to start doing that.
All right. Well, thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for waiting. We appreciate your patience. As always, leave any questions and stuff below and we'll get them on the next podcast.
Yes.
And we're going to get to your questions.
Yes.
And then we have potentially some things to talk about with each other.
Absolutely. Let's start off. Angel Cooked has a couple of questions that are fun. 1, describe your perfect lazy day and then your perfect productive day.
I think I know who this is, and it's like a friend, and they were like, I'm going to leave questions because I know you're going to film. And I was like, that's inorganic. You got to respect the sanctity of an organic viewer leaving. I can't be funneling these.
So we're going to just ignore that one.
Yeah.
And we're going to go.
Angel. No, we'll answer.
No, of course.
But 3 questions, Angel. Settle down.
Overzealous. And one of them's a 2-part. I'm just kidding. What's your perfect lazy day?
Perfect lazy day is getting up naturally and then doing something active to begin with, whether it's like a hike or a workout, like in my own time.
Wow.
Because like for me, and I noticed, like, I remember I had a conversation with like my siblings because like on a vacation, I like to work out. Mm-hmm. And I think either my sister-in-law or somebody was like, well, it's your vacation, so you should rest. And I'm like, well, no, it's a vacation, so I have time. Because what prevents me from working out is like time, you know? Mm-hmm. So I love to do something like that. Then come home, eat something, and then just like goof off the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You know, get high, watch a show, play some games, a little WoW raid. You know, I would love like, you know, a chill social thing, whether it's like a game night or what have you. But the older I get, once I get home, I want to be home.
Yes.
You know, so if it's like I get home from my workout, I eat something, whatever, and now it's like 2 p.m. and friends are like, let's meet at 8. I'm like, I don't want to leave again.
Yeah.
Once I'm out, I want to be out for 4 to 5 hours and then be home.
Yes.
Yeah.
I concur with that. Especially now that I'm further away from the town.
Potentially.
Or
maybe in the town.
I can be any direction.
Up, down, left, right.
A little bit further away from where things are happening. Mm-hmm. When I've returned back home, I'm home. Mm-hmm. Unless you're coming to me.
Yeah, I don't want to be... I want to limit the amount of time I need to be in pants.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah, because also as soon as I walk in the door, everything's coming off of my body.
Yeah. I'm not even fully in the door, and I'm starting, you know what I mean? Waddling down the... No, I'm kidding. I would never do that. Okay, what about you?
For perfect lazy day. So for me, when I hear lazy, I hear unproductive, like completely, because most of even my very chill days can be very productive, even if they're very chill. So I'm talking full lazy mode. I wake up whenever, and all the food I consume is ordered in.
Yeah.
And I'm literally rotting with the cats.
Yeah.
All day.
Good call.
That's it.
I love rotting. I love sitting with my boy. He loves to sit on the couch with me.
Yeah.
He likes to sit in the crevice of the cushions. Yes,
that's Obsidian's favorite spot. Yeah. I love the crevice.
And I like to wait till he's asleep and then just slap him on the booty, like right the base of the tail. Do they like that?
Oh yeah, they love that. Yeah.
And I just call him every name in the book.
You filthy whore.
I'm like, you fat piece of shit. And he's like, I love you. Let us know below. Do you verbally abuse your animals? Because I do. With love.
Do you call them mean names?
That's the only way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good lazy day.
What about your favorite, an ideal productive day?
Is that the next question?
Yeah, I mean, that's the 2-part for that one. I feel like it's just a combination of like being active, productive with work, having good nourishing rest, and high quality meals.
Yeah.
Whatever form that takes.
Crossing everything off on my list. It is rare that I cross everything off my list because I don't do weekly and daily lists. I just do the list of everything that needs to get done.
Do it all in one day.
And then I keep going. And especially if there's something that I have not been wanting to do or that I have been trying to do, but I keep forgetting because of ADHD, and I finally cross it off the list, I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
I think we'll pop over to the next person, then circle back.
Okay.
If we have time.
Yeah.
I feel like we've actually talked about this one before, so correct me if I'm wrong. Trish the Dish 09.
Oh, hey, Trish.
Said if you could bring 3 items to a desert island, what would they be? Haven't we talked about that? Yeah. All right.
Sorry, Trish.
Trish.
Go back to the old episode.
Whatever episode that may be. But what would you bring?
Yeah, you let us know.
To a desert island.
You asked the question, and now we want the answer.
Yeah. Matter of fact, all of you guys answer all of these questions. Thank you very much.
Flood us with essays.
Okay, we've actually got a deeper question next.
And this is from 7 months ago.
This is
I respect the 7 months ago more than the 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Okay? You're performative because you heard we were coming back. These are the real fans that were here with us in real time. Also, I know, I'm sorry. I'm making this up. You're great. I respect each and every one of you, except for one of you, and I'm not telling you who. Everybody else is great, but there's one of you that I've been keeping my eye on. You know who it is.
I don't know who it is.
I know.
But you better watch out.
Yeah.
Chesley Love was, we've got a little bit of an explanation. Apologies are an interesting thing that humans do. We all make mistakes, so it shouldn't be a simple I'm sorry. So shouldn't a simple I'm sorry be good enough? My question to you guys is, what does a genuine apology look like to you in your opinion? And what does a bad apology look like? And can you guys maybe explain scenarios where you went through both of them? I actually feel like we've kind of talked about this before too.
Yeah, probably.
As well. So we'll give it a little gist summary. I feel like a bad apology is always just like, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah.
Rather than like acknowledging the thing that was maybe done. Like, oh, I'm sorry you're responding like this.
Yeah.
And a good one is always just like acknowledging what actually happened, even if you don't necessarily feel like you were in the right or in the wrong or whatever. Being like, I hear you, acknowledge how they feel about it, and then finding a way to nourish their feelings emotionally, and then like move forward to making this situation better or feel better.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Thoughts?
I think it's like you hit the head on the nail. The first thing popped up. Sorry, you feel that way.
Head on the nail?
You hit, what did I say?
You hit the head on the nail?
Hit the nail on the head.
You hit the head on the nail.
I do that all the time.
Is that how you hammer things?
I think one of my undiagnosed things is like dyslexia. Does that does that count with saying things too?
I don't think so.
Is there
I have
saying
two
dyslexia
family members with dyslexia.
That doesn't count that way? Because I do that
it's
all the
just
time.
written.
Oh, okay. Mine
But
is.
maybe there's a version of it.
I do a thing too. Does it count where like I'll see something like the tomato was red. I'll be like, okay, I have to repeat that back.
And tomato.
In my head, I'm saying it correctly, but then it's not till someone goes, "Did you mean it this way?" Then I'm like, "What did I say?" So does that count? I don't know. Let me know below.
A verbal.
Maybe I'm just dumb. So maybe I should stop trying to have an explanation for everything when the explanation is just like I need to be more thoughtful. Anyways, apology. The big thing that I think is important is accountability in a real apology. Not just focusing on like, how you feel, but like taking accountability for your actions, recognizing the harm you did, and then for me, a true apology is more than just the words. It is proving to that person that you learned from the mistakes and it won't happen again. Yeah. So having some type of action plan to assure the person that it's like, hey, I'm taking accountability. This was my bad. Here's what I'm going to do in the future to make sure that I do not replicate this.
Totally.
Because it's not a true apology if you're just saying sorry because you feel bad or because you were called out. Because I can't tell you how many times people apologize. And I was just talking with another friend about this where it's like, well, you're just sorry that you got caught.
Yeah.
You're not actually sorry. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done it or you would have initiated this. So that's a true apology to me. Yep. Take accountability and show me that you're learning from your mistakes.
Hey, son. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also think, too, and this goes with all forms of communication in a type of heated situation, but also with apologies, that emotional stability is also very important in like how you are delivering this conversation. So heated, like, well, I'm sorry. Like, that's not, that's really setting the intention for how you feel behind it, too. So Obsidian has a lot to say. Do you have something else
something
like
about apologies?
Anything else, son? Well, if you're watching, we have a cat entering the frame, and he's very curious about these sticks in our hands, aka the mics. Sorry if he flashes you with his booty hole. But yeah, so hopefully that's helpful for whatever apology scenario.
I had something, but now I'm distracted.
He is quite a handsome boy to be distracted by.
If during an apology, the person who is receiving the apology is like having to cater to the apologizer, not a real apology.
Yeah.
If you're apologizing to me and because of your own whatever, I feel like I need to take care of you in that moment or you're whatever, then that's not an apology. You're still making it about you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Great note.
Thanks. Great question.
Yes. Thank you, Chesley, for that. Do you have anything else you want to add before I just keep rolling?
No.
Love it. Okay. Catalina EP5E. 7 months ago.
EP5E.
As two people that are in the public eye, what is the best and weirdest interaction you've ever had with someone that, quote unquote, knows you through your socials, whether it was online or in person? How'd you feel about it? And how did you handle it? And then, there's another part about gifts. We'll get into that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, best and weirdest interaction. Any off the top of the head?
I have been lucky that I haven't had too many weird interactions IRL, especially since I've started doing the Quinn stuff. I feel like the amount of interactions I've gotten has reduced. So maybe there's something in the nature of my work that either makes people not want to approach me or because it's primarily voice, maybe they don't recognize me or what have you. I would say the weird interactions I get have been pretty tame. It's mostly when people are starting a conversation with me or telling me they are familiar with me, but it's unclear. It's not like complimentary or even negative. It'll just be like, you're online or I saw your TikTok. And it's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to reply or have a conversation. It's like,
I can't on the internet.
Yeah. I can't go like, oh, thanks. And I remember one time this was a weird interaction and it wasn't specifically, the whole thing wasn't weird before it even got to this point, but like I was trying to go to a bar. Did I tell you the story? And like the bouncer like wouldn't let us in because we weren't on the guest list. even though it was like 9 p.m. She was like maybe like late 30s, early 40s, like just not having a good time. Meanwhile, they're like letting people in constantly. I'm with a friend. We have to wait for her friend to show up who was on the list. As we're entering, we're now like maybe 5 or 6 people in a group. As we're all walking in, she like stops me and my friend, then is like has to confirm with the friend of a friend, like, are these people with you? And she's like, and he was like, yeah. She looks at her ID again, and I just look at her and I go like, I promise we're fun. You know, like, you can let us into this bar. You know, I didn't say this part, but I'm like, I'm about to buy drinks for everybody here. Then the bar was so packed. It felt like a Gen Z bar that was trying to cosplay as like an East Side bar. Way too packed. Everybody doing whippets. But then the weird part came because I was...
You just glazed over that everybody doing whippets?
I'm setting the vibe for what kind of bar it was. And I was like, I'm too old to be here. Forced gratuity, where I'm fine with gratuity, but it was one of those where like they hand you back the like little button thing. And it was like, how much do you want to tip? And it was like 4%, 6%, 8%. And I was like, well, that's weird. I'll give you 8%. So but it was because they already did like the forced 20% on top. And I was like, if you're forcing the 20%, why are you then? Whatever. But then at the bar, I was waiting, and this part was nice. A girl was like, oh my God, I like know you from TikTok. Like, da-da-da, it's so great. I was like, oh, awesome. Then her friend came up to me and like from behind, like kind of like grabbed my head and like kind of ruffled my hair. And then I look at her and she's like, oh, I thought you were someone else. And then her friend was like, oh my gosh, like he's from TikTok. And she looks at me and she's like, yeah, I don't like your stuff. And I was just like, okay. And then just like walked away. And I was just like, this is so strange. So it was just a combination of like being denied entry to the bar. Only in LA can you be denied entry to a bar and then get recognized in said bar. Inside
the bar.
And then get like humbled. And then it was just so crowded. And like everybody was like young, which is fine. And like it would have been great outside of all that. So that was one of the weirder ones. Yeah.
Make sure yeah, that is a weird ass interaction.
Yeah, I'll never go back to that bar.
Do you have a best interaction off the top of your head?
Best interaction.
Yeah.
Best interaction. You know, I've had some, hey Bubba. I've had some good ones where people are just like really kind and really complimentary. I was at a cafe maybe 2 weeks ago filming a thing for my acting class, and there were 2 girls there. And she was like, oh my God. She was like, hey, do you make like really good content online, like really wholesome content? And I was like, well, it feels egotistical to say yes to that, you know? And her friend laughed at that. And she was so kind. She's like, no, but you really do. And I really like it. And da-da-da-da. And then she was just so respectful. And like, you know, it's always like the transition that's awkward. What? Like, how do you end the interaction?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then like feel a little obligated. So I've just had a bunch of like really kind people. One time I was seeing a play and she came out to us. One time when I was in Vegas, this girl like came up to me and my family at dinner and she's like, I know you on TikTok. And she's like, I'm studying theater in Boston. I just want to say how much I love your stuff. So I have gotten the primarily have been very positive and sweet and nice.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say all my in-person interactions have always been wonderful. My audience is...
The online ones.
Yeah, you know, and we all get why, because people get to hide behind a screen with their weird-ass behavior. But my audience is primarily young women, and you guys are just delightful. Every time I meet anyone, anywhere, in any place, it's always just, like, so wholesome and sweet. So a lot of them are kind of very similar in what, like, the conversation kind of ends up being.
Like the girl in Mexico?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, most of them are just like, oh my God, I love your content. And I'll go up and talk to them and be like, what's your name? And then we'll talk for a bit. And yeah. And that's really, it's usually very wholesome. I would say before we get there, I would say the coolest thing is when I'm in another country and it happens. That is what always kind of takes me back. Like I was, and if you're watching this, hello, I was in South Africa and I was in an aquarium And this guy ended up recognizing me, and he was like, I wasn't sure if it was you at first, but then I like checked your IG story and I saw you were in South Africa. So I was like, what? Wait, it is you. Mm-hmm. And that I think is just like the most mind blowing, because I'm like, what do you mean people in other countries?
It's weird to think about that, because I even go live and they'll be like, hi from Switzerland. Right. I'm like, that's crazy to me. I'm just sitting in my apartment right now.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then the weirdest things are online ones. And I have unfortunately had quite a few unsettling experiences, mostly people that do not understand how things that would make me feel unsafe. Yep. So I've had like different, and it's almost like I don't want to voice them, because I don't want to give these people a platform to think like what they did is getting attention in any way. But, different types of pranks. If people know my address, have tried things. And stupid really things that genuinely make me feel unsafe, and people either think it's like funny or they're just trying to provoke a reaction. But thankfully, like, I don't think I've ever had any interaction in person where it's ever been like weird or awkward or anything like that. Good. People just do weird things online.
Yep, weird things online.
Take ownership for it.
And I'm thankful that my weird interactions in person have just kind of been like,
awkward.
Not like, just kind of like, like I was doing an escape room in Vegas. Did I tell you this story? And it was so cool. It's I definitely recommend it. It's right outside the that like abandoned strip club, 3 Horses, 3 Ponies. It's got like lore. Okay. But it's actually like they do like horror themed ones. One was set in like an old butcher shop, and it was like Saw themed.
Oh.
But I remember because my sister clocked this. We were doing the second escape room, and they like asked for our IDs again, which we were like already in there. And so I give my ID to the lady, and she's kind of like taking a while, like looking at it and stuff. And I thought it was weird, but I was like, whatever. But I remember afterwards my sister had clocked in. She's like, yeah, that was kind of weird. As we're leaving, the security guard like pulls us to the side or stops us. And he was like half security guard, half actor, like he did both. And he's like, hey, is one of you like an actor? And I immediately go, nope. No, not us. And he's like, some about deep water. And at that time I had done a movie, Sweetwater, but it wasn't out yet. And I was like, do you mean Sweetwater? He's like, oh yeah, they're talking about it on the walkie on the radio. But that was just weird because it was like that movie wasn't out. So I think what happened was
checked your IMDb
they checked
credits.
they saw my ID, they somehow recognized I felt familiar, they checked it, and then they tried to use it as like a talking point. But meanwhile it was just like the movie's not out.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful that my weird interactions are just kind of like that.
Yeah.
And not people being like, I want to scoop out your eyeballs.
Yeah. Sorry about the car alarm. If you guys hear
that.
Yeah,
we could hold for alarm if you want.
I feel like our mics are probably doing a good enough job of having it.
Yeah, let's check. Yeah, I think it's all right.
All right, great. Carrying on. Mm-hmm. Also, what is the best... Oh, this is an intense question. What is the best or worst gift you've ever received, whether it's from family, friends, followers? And you get a lot of gifts from your followers,
I'm very privileged that people send me things. Well, if you had a P.O. box...
Any good birthday
You'd
gifts,
get a lot
Zach,
if you had a P.O. box.
I do have a P.O. box.
You do?
Yes. But I think a lot of people...
Brands send you stuff directly, right?
Well, no. They go to my P.O. box.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
I was going to say.
Yeah. But
where's your P.O. box?
Out somewhere.
Wait, you don't want to say... Isn't that information available?
I guess it is available.
Isn't it like on your link tree?
Yeah. Well, no, it's not on my link tree.
How do people find it if they want to send you
stuff?
I
guess...
Or do you just
I guess
like,
that's
or is
why
it like
people
through
don't
Amazon?
really know where it is.
Well, you don't have to say, and we can always like cut things out.
Well, it doesn't.
But like for me,
it doesn't really matter. It is public information.
Yeah,
but
because the other day somebody was like, Zach, because I did a vlog, and they were like, your PO box, like the information's available. I'm like, that's the whole point.
Yeah,
like it's not my address.
Yeah, I guess I don't have it where it's
but
like
you don't have to say
in
you don't
my no. I usually just give it directly to brands, or I have it on my Twitch page, but I didn't put it like in my, and I think at some point I was deciding on whether or not to do that, but I was like, that would open up a whole wave of people if they wanted to just send me weird stuff.
Well, they still can.
They still can. It's just a little bit harder to find. You
know? Hey, that's totally fine.
I was like, because I thought about that if it's.
But if it was as available as mine, I'm sure you'd get tons of stuff too.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
So
and also somebody asked best or and worst or worst, and then also any favorite birthday gifts. Zach was also a question.
7 months ago. Well, the trip was a gift from my mother. She's big on like 30th birthdays. So, and you attending was a very good gift. So thank you.
It was a gift to me.
Yeah, it was a gift to us. So that was probably it for the best gifts. And I'm not, you know this about me, I'm not a gift guy.
He is not a gift guy, which drives me a little crazy.
I just I don't.
Gifts is my love language.
I don't.
He does not like gifts.
I don't prefer them. They're just not. I'm just not that guy. And there's nothing wrong with this. I don't judge other people. There's nothing wrong with liking gifts or liking nicer things. But this is a fully thrifted outfit. I'm wearing my dad's old jeans. I think I've had this belt for a decade. The most expensive thing are my glasses that I'm wearing. So yeah, I'm sorry to be such a Debbie Downer for this question because I'm just not a gift guy and my family kind of knows this about me.
Yeah.
I think my mom wrote me a check for my birthday and I lost it, that's
crazy.
Well, it wasn't cash or anything. Yeah, it wasn't cash. It doesn't matter. But I mean, I lost a couple of things because I was I was a zombie coming out of that hotel.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was struggling big time. So yeah, I guess worst gift ever.
I know it's so hard to just think
remember.
Okay, what's every gift I've ever.
One gift that really hurt my feelings, which back in the day, I mean, I was a little boy, but I remember, I don't know why, it just hurt my feelings. But I remember my aunt was visiting, and I was a very inquisitive boy, and I was I mean, you see me now. I've learned restraint, but young Zach could not shut the fuck up. I don't know, it was the ADHD or the extroverted Leo, whatever the fuck. That was my biggest problem. I was always in trouble at school for not shutting the fuck up. And I had so many questions. I was so curious about the world. So I know my aunt was visiting. I was the little boy who would just be like, why? Not what, but be like, well, why is the sky blue? Why? And for Christmas, she gifted me a book that was just something answering questions about the universe or whatever. And I don't know why, because I was a little boy, maybe I wanted toys or whatever. It just hurt my feelings. I think, and maybe because I think she was now you don't have to ask me questions or whatever. And I just took that to heart, and I just don't think I ever asked her a question ever again.
You totally would do
but I was just being a sensitive little boy.
I get it though.
I can share a story of a time that I received a gift, and I think I'm still embarrassed about it. I was a terrible recipient. And I hurt my mom's feelings, and I felt so bad about it.
What happened?
I was way too old for this too. I was probably 19, and I was really into Game of Thrones. My mom gifted me the books in 2012.
Okay.
And I had asked her, she's like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I was like, "I want the 5th book." It had just came out or whatever. And we have a tradition in my family. Christmas Eve, everybody gets to open one gift.
Nice.
And so she gifted this gift, and it was a book, and I was so excited. And I'm not a big gift guy, so I don't really get excited, but I was excited for this. And I open it up, and it's not the book. And furthermore, it's just a random sci-fi book and a sequel to a book I hadn't read yet. And so I don't know why I was just being such a hormonal little bitch. I feel bad about this, and I apologize pretty quickly after. But I think I just was
How old were you?
19.
Okay.
I was too old to be acting like a loser. And I just kind of took it out on my mom. I was like, "Mom, this isn't the Game of Thrones book." And she was just kind of "Oh, sorry." And I was like, "Well, did you get it? Will I get it tomorrow?" And she's like, "No, I don't think I did." And I feel so bad. I was like, "Mom, that's the only thing I wanted." And then I was looking at it. I was like, "This is a sequel. I haven't even read the first." And my mom is such a sweetheart. She just kind of took it, and she's like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry, whatever."
Aww.
And then I went away, and then I very quickly, to my credit, it was within 10 or 20 minutes. I was like, that was really mean and rude of me. So I went up to my mom, and I think she was organizing gifts, and I was like, "Hey, Mom, I'm sorry, like that wasn't cool of me, da da da. But I could tell it really hurt her feelings because she didn't even look at me, and she was like, "It's okay." And I even if you're watching right now, Mom, I have apologized since many times over the years. I don't even think she remembers because that's who she is. But I'm sorry, Mom. And so I know that wasn't the spirit of the question, but I still feel bad to this day.
Great story.
There are so many. Do you have moments in your life where this is actually a question I have written down? If you could go back in time and change one thing. I have moments in my life where I wish I could just go back and just slap the shit out of myself. Just, you piece of shit. So 2 questions for you. The actual question and then my question later.
Would the slap then alter
the timeline?
the timeline.
I would love to live in a universe where I never said that to my mother. I feel bad. Maybe I need to let it go. But I think every time I see my mom, I apologize for something she doesn't remember.
So real.
That I'm like, Mom, I'm so sorry that I did this. And she's like, what?
I always talk about how I feel like when I was a teenager, especially, I was so obnoxious and mean. And my mom is convinced I was a perfect little angel. And I'm like, Mom, just too much time has passed. I think you just don't really remember.
Thankfully, my mom remembers me being an idiot. And when I apologize, like we would have screaming matches when I was a hormonal kid. And I would, did you ever like threaten to like cut your mom off from your life? That was like the only thing I could threaten her with. I would be 15, 16 and just like, I was not a temperamental upset person, but just, occasionally the hormones. And I'd be like, I'm going to leave forever and have kids and you'll never see it, and I'm just like crying on the way to school,
Yeah. I think the biggest thing I feel shitty about in retrospect of that is like, when you're a kid, especially a teenager, you're always like so embarrassed of your parents. Right. And my mom is a very bold woman. Yeah. And so she will like sing whatever, says whatever's on her mind. She does not care. And as a teenager, I was like, oh my God, Mom, like you're embarrassing me. And like in retrospect, like we were the embarrassing
ones. Yeah. That's why I want to go back in time and just shake myself and be like, you're the problem, bro. Everybody's having a good time. But you're moody and it's like, if someone looks at me, I'll kill myself. Nobody talk to me. I hate myself.
It's so true.
But there was like a year or 2 period of my life. I was just chatting with my sister about this where like I just didn't want to talk to anyone. Yeah. I wanted to just be in my room and be moody and be a loser.
I think I might still be in that.
yeah. But now at least I'm not a fucking dickhead loser about it.
Yeah, right. Now,
and like I can appreciate
we just isolate
my family
in a nice
for
way.
funsies.
Yeah.
What about best or worst gift?
Yeah, that's hard to say, to be honest, because I feel like either I'm very vocal about what I like or people are just like really good about getting me things that I like. But I've had so many amazing gifts over the year that it's kind of hard to like pinpoint. Like,
well, one that comes to mind, maybe not best, but just one great gift you can think of.
I know, it's so hard to say. Like, there's just so many things because I as I mentioned before, gifts is my love language. So like I just get overjoyed about it. It could be the tiniest thing or the largest thing. I just love that someone thought of getting me a little something, like even if it's like a little knickknack or if it's a nice thing.
Yeah,
like
and
whatever.
She does receive gifts very well because I've gotten you 2 little knickknacks and you were like over the moon about it, and I was like, they're just silly.
I love it. It makes me so happy, and then I'll like every time I use it, I'm like, oh, it makes me
Do you use the mug?
Yes. What mug was it?
Something about magic.
Yeah. Oh, that was that one. Yeah. I have tea in that like every morning.
And then I don't know when you'll use dice, but I got you dice.
Yes, I have the dice.
A little
it's
satchel.
in my with my other.
I don't know when you'll ever
my
use
cards
it,
and
but
stuff. I have it. I don't know. Who knows? We'll play board games and I'll use the dice.
It's the most simple gifts.
Yeah.
But she is a very authentic person.
I love gifts.
This is not an act.
No. You can see the joy in my face, but that's also so I think also too, just like even just the gift of like shopping with people too, like I find so much joy in that. It's hard to pinpoint. I don't know.
Worst?
And it's also hard to say worst too, because to be honest, like I don't know if I've ever gotten like a bad gift, because that's right, son. I feel like genuinely maybe I'm very specific about what I like with people, but or they just kind of get me. So I don't have a good answer for that, but I love gifts. I love giving them. I love receiving them. So shout out to the gift people as a love language, because there is sometimes a little bit of sauce around that being a love language. It's very legit.
You know, I was just chatting with a friend and we were clowning on the gifts.
What do you have to say? If you're going to say it, say it with your chest here.
Nothing.
Now
No, I think we were just joking
me.
where it's like, well, to be fair, you are not alone in gift giving, period. But both gift giving and physical touch as love languages can sometimes have a bad rap.
Yes.
By, like, you know, physical touch people, by aggressive or predatory people using that as a guise to, like, enforce physical touch. And then gift giving can be viewed as, like, materialistic or shallow or whatever. Yeah. But in its true essence, like, you are not that way. Like, for you, it's the joy of being thought of or being thoughtful. And then, like, physical touch, like, for me, because that's, like, my number one, it's not about, like, sex or anything. It's about, like...
Typical for a guy.
Typical guy.
And typical for a girl.
Typical, yeah. But in its true essence, like, when it's coming from, like, a place of love, it's about, for you, like, the acknowledgement, the thought, whatever. Sorry, I just got an email from Streamlabs about something. Okay. That I've been dealing with. Anyways, but for touch, it's about, like, the reaffirming intimacy through casual touch. Like, if we're walking, you put your hand on your shoulder. Yeah. You know what? That, like, it's so impactful for me. Yeah. So they both get bad raps.
They do.
But when it is authentic, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yes.
And it's meaningful.
Yeah. With that being said, I am a material girl. And materials
and there's nothing wrong with that, you know?
But... it is the pure joy and excitement from materials that makes it authentic.
And I wouldn't say, even if you are a quote-unquote materialistic person,
material girl.
I would not, especially having known you for years, you're not shallow.
Thanks.
And you give back as much as you, like, want to, like, take as well. Yeah. So, because I have known materialistic people. I dated a girl whose, like, hobby was shopping. But like they came from a place of privilege, and it was clearly like more of like a coping mechanism and like a status thing rather than like enjoying giving gifts. And it was like the closet was so packed, like you couldn't fit things in it. And then it would be like a withholding, like, because you will donate your things. You know, it's not like a weird hoarding kind of behavior.
Must keep everything. Yeah.
And the same thing with physical touch. Like, it's like, for me, it's not about sex. Like, it's like if I'm doing the dishes and you, like, hug me from behind, like, what do you
that's nice.
You want my credit card? Like, what do you need? You know?
I love it. And then
triple parter.
Oh, I love this question though. This is very important.
Okay.
This one's for Zach.
Oh.
You're a cow man everywhere.
Yeah.
What are your feelings towards cows?
I love cows.
Do you even like them?
I love cows. You know, I saw a flock of cows on the way here.
What? Mm-hmm. I need more details on that. I haven't seen, like, near my neighborhood?
Yeah, but you know when you're, like, coming on the freeway, there's, like, that little bit of, like, kind of like rural area. There was a whole flock.
You saw a flock of cows? I'd love to see that.
I didn't see it. I'm trying to make a joke. Can you guess where I'm going with it or no?
No.
A flock of cows.
Is that not what they call?
Correct, yeah. What are they called?
I don't know.
You don't know? It's a dad joke. So you guys can use this next time. You see cows, but you need someone who knows what a group of cows is called.
What is it called?
So you say, oh, look at that flock of cows. It's called a herd of cows. And they go, herd of cows. You'd be like, of course I've heard of cows. There's one right there. So as you can see, I love cows so much that I have a dad cow joke ready to go that Dorothy was not equipped to handle. There was not a flock of cows. Where would they be?
I live in a... Okay.
You are potentially.
I live potentially in a very nature-y part of town now.
Or a very urban part of town with lots of skyscrapers.
And so it's very believable for me to think that there was cows somewhere nearby. But
it's a flock of birds or a herd of cows. A murder of crows.
A murder?
A murder of
That's
crows.
what they call it?
Yeah. There's a bunch of other ones too, and I'm blanking on them right now.
A murder of crows?
Yeah.
Oh, there goes your... Obsidian is...
But I do love cows. I've always loved cows. I hope one day, if I'm lucky enough to, like, live on a property, I would love Highland cows.
I don't know cows.
They're the fluffy brown ones. That
are cute. Yeah, those are cute.
I love any animal that is like big but gentle.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I like that I like the videos of like a baby who lives on a farm. And they're like cows, and all the cows come running.
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Now that we're talking about it. So I do love cows. However, the choice to be cowman was just a spontaneous. I started blowing up on TikTok. Before this, I think I was Z is for Zach everywhere.
Oh,
yeah.
I think this is the first time hearing about that.
Yeah, it was like my OG username.
Z is for Zach.
Z is for Zach.
Wow.
And then I was like, I think Zach Cowan was taken or something, and I just split moment decision, just Cow. Added an M in there.
Wow.
So Cowman instead of Cowan. But it is a fine moniker, but it causes issues because
confuses
people think I'm actually Cowman. And now I feel like from an SEO standpoint, that's like search engine optimization, when people like type in, I feel like it has split the traffic for me, whether you're looking up Zachary Cowan or Zachary Cowman. Really? Google's sophisticated enough that you get both.
You would think.
But I can't help, especially because I'm trying to build a career, I can't help but think that I'm like, splitting some of the algorithm stuff. So that's the only downside. But I do kind of like it. And I don't know, something about it tickles me that it's like, what if I like blow up as an actor and I just ditch Zach Cowman all behind and I gaslight everybody into thinking the last certain amount of years of my life never existed?
What do they call
an alter ego?
No. What do they call it? No. You're going down the wrong train of thought.
I'll stop.
What do they call it? The something effect when
butterfly?
No.
All right, I'm sorry.
Damn it, stick with me here.
I'm sorry.
Okay, what do they call it when like something changes and they try to convince us all as a society it was never that way? You know what I mean?
Not gaslighting?
No.
Hold on.
No, what's it called?
Deniers?
Like
Holocaust deniers?
You guys know what it is. Like brands who like this is a random example, but like let's say Kellogg's was randomly like, no, we always spelled it with one L. And everybody's like, no, what do you mean? It's always been spelled with two L's. And they're like, no. Come on, you don't.
And it's not gaslighting?
No, the something effect. It's got a very specific term.
Oh, I don't know.
Damn it, you guys know.
Well, I know there's like, is it something along the lines of like Murphy's Law?
No,
okay.
The
blank effect.
Something,
and it has to do with like trying to trick people into thinking something's not correct.
What's it called when society tells us something is not different than what it used to be? The something effect?
No way.
Seriously, there's something wrong.
Hold on.
Please try again. Okay, while you're doing that, it's because I unplugged my Wi-Fi and it was confused. I know all of you guys that are watching this are screaming it at the screen right now of what it is.
It came up with gaslighting.
No. Make sure it's like society, not a person. Okay. Like a brand says something was always the way it is. Like a lot of like logos.
And are they trying to be like joking about it or?
No, well, like, no, it's implied that they're saying like, no, it was always this way. Specifically, like this happens with
illusionary
like,
truth effect?
No. What the fuck?
Why don't be mad? I'm just.
Oh my God, I feel. No, I'm not mad. I mean, I'm mad at myself.
That never happened. I'm sorry. We'll just have to wait for people to tell us, I guess.
All right. They all know.
It's not cognitive dissonance.
No.
All right.
They all know what it's called. You guys know what it's called. I feel like me not remembering the name is the effect happening on me.
What is it called when society tries to convince you something didn't happen, but it did?
I feel like that version of it is going to seem like gaslighting. It has to be more of like a brand.
Okay.
No. What is it called when a brand originally... Oh. No. Wait. What is it called when a brand originally had a certain logo and now they are trying to convince you that it was always this way?
I like this because if someone knows, they're just going to be screaming it.
I know.
Rebranding?
I feel like I'm being gaslit right now. Okay, fuck it. You guys are gonna tell us in the comments because you all know what it is.
Mandela effect?
No, that's not it. All right. Anyways, we're carrying on.
Let us know down below.
You guys know what it is. I know you know. You're
I don't
smart
know. Maybe
people.
we shouldn't be going that long with it, but okay.
It's fine. All right. My cutie pie from Stram, Desi Adams, wants to know, hey guys.
Oh, hey Desi.
Do you both have anything you're super passionate about that isn't related to the field of work you both already do?
Damn it. Why? I can't. A man can't have more than one passion. What am I super passionate about?
Well, you think about that.
Should we? Oh yeah, you got it.
I have an answer.
Okay.
Here's my thing. I have probably a questionable habit of monetizing everything that I was just like once casually passionate about. I'm then like, how can I turn this into a money-making machine that then becomes full-time work? So I do that with like everything that I'm passionate about. So it all kind of becomes work. However, I would say the one thing that I have not done that with is reading. And I've always been very passionate about reading for a long time. And I do nothing in any way, shape, or form that is like work related.
Do you have a silly answer
that I read?
Like something about, I'm really passionate about flip-flops, you know?
Oh.
Or I'm really passionate about.
I'm very passionate about shopping.
Okay.
That's not silly.
Yeah, it's all right. You do it with whimsy. I want to come with you one of these times. You do like your Beverly Hills thing. You go to the places that give champagne.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I want to dress up nice and just pretend to be silly. And vlog it.
And vlog it,
yeah.
Please.
I've been on my vlogging era. I've been posting more on YouTube.
Absolutely. We'll get you some Gucci flip-flops.
I did a Dollar Tree vlog, so now I need to do the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you?
What am I passionate about?
Anything you're passionate about that's not in the work? Rock climbing.
Yeah, I wouldn't know if I'd call that a passion, but I'm enjoying it. Things I'm passionate about that's not whatever. Like what are some rants that I always come back to? You know, I'm a bit of like a I don't like Apple. Haven't I gone on a rant about Apple before? I just think, I use an iPhone. I was never an Apple person. I only switched to an iPhone when I started doing social media. Mm-hmm. And a friend told me, like, dude, if you get an iPhone, you will start blowing up. And it happened. And it is only because, it's a few reasons, but it's different now, but especially in 5-6 years ago. Like maybe you remember this. I'm sure you guys remember. If you were to upload a story from an iPhone versus like an Android phone, the quality was just exponentially better on an iPhone.
Interesting.
And it was because, apps were optimized better for Apple. And in their defense, optimizing just for iOS versus, 60 different versions of like Android operating system for Samsung versus Lenovo versus Google versus blah, 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 But Apple is just a shady company. I don't like the way they run. I don't like their iPhones. I don't like their planned obsolescence. I don't like the fact that they have like proprietary repair centers. Like a phone, and I watched this guy for years that does like Apple repairs, like uncertified Apple whatever. And they stopped releasing the schematics for the devices if you want to repair it yourself. I don't like that it's not open interface like an Android phone. Obviously, it's changing now, but like you could look at it and be like, I want to change this one thing about it. And you can. And I think you should be able to do that. I think they dumb down our consumers. I hate that there's no interface between I have a PC, you have an Apple device. You have to go through 6 extra steps if you want to just get a piece of footage off your phone onto here. I think they really push their cloud services. So I'm passionate about.
You are very passionate
technology.
About hating Apple.
Yeah, I'm sure I have some other like hatred things like that.
This isn't like a silly haha. It's more of
mine fuels me with a deep rage.
Yeah, mine's more of a problem, but I'm very passionate about like cleaning, like things being. Oh, yeah, look at my hobgoblin mug. Okay, I am pretty passionate about knickknacks. Look at this knickknack. I got this at the flea market.
If you're out, patty wax.
Give a dog a bone.
So you got it at the flea market?
I did. I just I saw it. And mind you, you guys don't really know the aesthetic of my place. I'm a very beige person. My whole apartment is like white, beige, cream, and gold. And like, yes, I am that person. It calms my mind. However, when I saw this mug, I was like, this is not an aesthetic mug. This is a mug that when I pour my tea into it every day, I'm going to smile. And so I had to get it.
It's good.
Right?
Yeah. I like
Hobgoblin.
it. I've been enjoying drinking it.
Yeah. Right? It makes you smile every time.
Sorry, I distracted you.
Well, I'm very passionate about cleaning in a problematic way. Like things, I cannot relax if things are not organized.
Yeah.
Or
that's
cleaned.
one of those things where it's like, is it problematic if it ultimately benefits you? Right. It's like people who say, like, I have an addiction to work out and it's bad. Like, you know, and it's like, it is true. Like, if your whole day or week is spiraling out of control and you can't regulate your emotion because you didn't get to clean it, whatever. Yeah. It's like, sure, maybe you need to work on that. But ultimately, is being addicted to cleaning or working out, like, it's only going to service you.
Yeah, I think it's just how much it unsettles you.
Totally, yeah.
To the degree. Yeah. But you know what's funny? And I thought about making a TikTok about this, where it's like how you think people are going to be when they come over to your place. Mm-hmm. And it's like Zach coming over, I just envision in my head, like, him looking at every crevice of everything, and I'm like, okay, every
it's like your
single
mom
corner has exactly, which
why are they going in my room?
I literally never. And I think about like all the times I've been to your place, I'm like, I don't think I've ever stepped foot in your room, and I'm like, I always think like, oh, my room needs to be impeccable, like just in case. I'm like, plus it's the new place, you know, you might want to tour. But you know what's hilarious is as soon as Zach walked in the door, he literally started opening up my fridge.
But that's only because we're really good friends. I wouldn't do that otherwise. And you know I wouldn't judge.
No, of course not. But
I didn't open up any other cabinets. I only opened your fridge because it's comedically small.
It is a very short fridge.
It's a short fridge, and usually your fridge is like bare. And it cracks me up.
That's so true. I actually have a very full fridge.
Yeah.
I've been
potatoes don't have to be in the fridge though. Right?
I know, but they preserve them from sprouting longer, and they started to in the fridge.
But you guys let me know down below. I always thought this, but I could be wrong. If a potato sprouts, you can just cut that part off.
Yeah, I do.
But I think I saw something earlier that it was like once it sprouts, you're not supposed to eat it.
Oh, but I've always just
I made some potatoes the other day, and I just keep my potatoes in a dark, dank place. As the Irish intended. And I was making some mashed potatoes, and those potatoes were probably in there for months. They were all sprouted.
Yeah.
And I just peeled it all away. Yeah. I was like, nobody's going to know. I think the only time you should not eat it is like if you like cut into it and then it's there's like
black or whatever. Yeah, I had that happen once where I went through the whole process of baking it in the oven for an hour only to cut it open, and it was dark on the inside. Ooh, I was like, damn it. Yeah, but I know my potatoes in the fridge. She made a comment about it as soon as he opened the fridge. She's like, "You got potatoes in here?" Yes.
But I complimented your sink. You couldn't even believe it. You were like,
I was very confused. He complimented my bathroom sink. I think it's the ugliest sink ever.
I like dark wood though.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. This is my thing. I'm also like very crazy about things being on theme.
Yeah.
And since my whole apartment
is very thematic
so far, but there's so much more I still want to change. Like one of the things is all of the door handles, the light fixtures, the hinges of the windows, everything is silver, and I want it all to not be. So I want to change out and mind you, I live in an apartment. This is not a house.
Well, we could just get you some like gold spray paint, so it would look like your lamp. I could just come over and spray paint it.
But I don't think I should for the door the stuff.
Oh, you can just can strip it later.
Interesting. Well, that I feel like is an easy to replace the fixture. I would mind doing, but totally. Then I was thinking all my window painting all of that.
Yeah.
Which
but
again.
also I'm of an opinion, especially for random places like this. If you're making it look nicer when you move out, if you don't say anything,
right? You would think that
they wouldn't be like, wait a second, a year or two ago was this silver?
Yeah, that's so true.
How long have you had this mirror? This wasn't at your last place,
No,
right?
I bought it right
huge.
before I moved.
Where'd you get
Funny
it?
enough. I got it from, so weirdly, no. Can
you imagine?
I have this big, like antique looking gold mirror in my place, or like copper. I don't know
It's
what you call
gigantic.
that.
It's got to be at least like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, I guess it is. It doesn't seem
like
that big
4
to me.
feet wide. It's
but
huge.
I guess it's pretty large.
It's taller than your doorway. It's slanted right now.
Yeah, that's true. But I actually
like
originally saw, I originally saw the listing actually on Facebook Marketplace, but it wasn't from a random person. It was from one of, like one of those stores that you're like, who do they sell to? And it was like a furniture store. And the furniture store has a Facebook Marketplace account where they just like list certain things.
Yeah.
And she had a bunch of different antique looking mirrors, and they delivered it and everything, and it was wonderful. And I love that mirror. I've always wanted a giant.
It definitely opens the place up a little bit.
Right? Mm-hmm. I'm glad, I've tried to be better about dimensions with this place, but when I got it and I knew I wanted the fireplace, I was like,
yeah.
Are all of these things going to fit? We'll find out.
Wait,
Nice,
this
son.
fireplace, is this...
I bought that.
I know, including the like white part around it, was that there? Or did you...
I brought, that's a whole thing
That's like
purchased
a whole thing?
from
Okay.
Amazon.
Got it. So that's like
Can you believe?
that's like not a part of the wall.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Anyways, rambles about my apartment,
Great
but
rambles. I mean, we
he loves you.
have been leaving them wanting, so I feel like the more
This is true. Yeah, I hope you guys
Hello,
enjoy
Baba.
the random tangents. We have
Hello.
Obsidian here is cuddling Zach.
Hello, Bubbles.
He loves. All right, that was a question. Oh, there was something I wanted to address early on. Jay Bonkers asked, are the outfits always coordinated? And the answer is yes, because our last video, remember, if you guys can tell, we're both wearing green.
It's almost the same shade. I think yours is a bit deeper.
Last one we filmed, we were dressed really nice.
Yeah,
that was the one. Yeah, the
stuff.
suit and fucking vintage dress. So the answer is yes.
I picked the color today.
He did pick the color.
Usually Dorothy picks.
Because you'd always tell me to pick, even though I always ask you.
It wasn't accusatory.
It seemed a little.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I was just being silly.
First, you're blaming me for the time off for the putt.
I think
I'm fucking with you.
You gotta,
Are you saying I have control issues?
Where did that come from? Is that something you gotta talk to ChatGPT about?
I already have.
What'd they say?
The answer is yes.
No, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you. No,
what's
not
the opposite
at all.
of that? Do I have the opposite of that?
No, I think you're just very go with the flow.
Yeah.
Which we can both be.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but we both are. But I think we're both good about making. It's funny because I think both of us,
I don't
when
mind
we're
you
with our
doing whatever you
families,
want.
we are the ones like, okay, we're gonna do that. But
Yeah.
then when we're with each other, because we're so used to that, we're like, well, what do you do? What do you want to do?
I've given up that role in my family. I was that role for years.
Yeah.
And then I had a really weird interaction with my brother years ago, and then my sister was a part of it too. And it just I was just talking to my sister about this. Did I tell you about this off air? The conversation? And
I think a little.
Yeah. And it was something along the line, because I always felt like my role in the family was helping, because sometimes, especially with lots of people that are all chill, someone just has to be like, okay, we'll do this, whatever.
Yeah.
And had that, and then I also felt like I was kind of the fun guy, we're all fun, but I we're actors, if we've talked about this, if we want a group of people to have the best time ever, we can put on that hat and everyone's gonna have a great time.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this in a bragging way, but it was common for me, especially friends would come up to me afterwards and be like, dude, everybody had a great time because you were there, or dude, you were on fire tonight, whatever. And somehow that came up in the conversation, and they just kind of hit me with and I know they had good intentions, where they were just you don't have to do that. You can just be yourself, whatever. But then it's you have this core value that you see as a benefit, and then to just kind of be told that's not needed or whatever.
Yeah.
So long story long, for I guess part of me has like relinquished that,
That's
let
great.
that go.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to talk to ChatGPT about it.
I love talking to ChatGPT. That's something you guys don't know. Actually, we were talking about things we're passionate about.
ChatGPT.
Don't judge me, okay? I'm
Dorothy believes AI should take over artists' lives.
That's not what I said. Also, I did research about ChatGPT's impact on the environment because I know that was a thing I was nervous about, and I don't want you guys to judge me. So apparently, like, these big companies using AI at such an extreme extent is actually really bad for the environment because it requires a lot of energy for them to pull the... I don't get it either, but that's a thing. However, I have been told from everything I read that as one individual, it's not really make or breaking much impact.
Maybe this is ignorant of me, but I wouldn't put the onus on ChatGPT.
Just AI in general. I think all the different, all this, and that's one factor of that.
I'm in the camp, and I'm an artist. I could be severely impacted by AI. You know, especially like I have worries because like you have hundreds of hours of content of me speaking, saying every word in the English dictionary, and plenty made up ones. Yeah. If someone wanted to, they could create a bot with me, and they already do that with popular streamers. Yeah. So knowing that context that I am, in my opinion, in the firing line, I'm still pro AI, and I don't think it is inherently good or evil. I think it is a tool. And it is more so the people that use it that need to be, you know, regulated and what have you. I don't think it's
He's saying I need to be regulated.
Yeah, totally. Are we still talking about AI or? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, so I don't think it's like inherently good or bad, but like most things, just like the internet, it is how people are utilizing it.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about AI? Let us know in the comments how you feel about it. But if you guys did not know, there are so many levels of ChatGPT that you can use for like
use it for anything.
What?
Use it for anything.
Yeah, for anything. Like goal setting and sending out queries for things, writing cover letters, meal planning, everything. I was reading about quantum leaping with ChatGPT too. So
I use it as like a director and film script. If I have like an audition and I don't have time to read a script, I will give it to ChatGPT and I will ask it very specific questions. I will be like, tell me the character breakdown.
Yep.
I will utilize it from a character point of view, and then I will even ask them like what an actor could do in relation to this character to differentiate themselves from other auditions.
That. I'm going to use that question.
Yeah, and it'll say things like, you know, because that was something I picked up in an acting class. The whole thesis of that one was like, identify the trap of the scene. Yeah. And that means identify what everyone is going to interpret it as. So true. And then find a way to either break that trap or be authentic with it. So I will ask them, I'm like, what is everyone going to do? And then what can I do to differentiate?
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that. Thank you.
Please do it. I use it for email replying. Yeah. I've used it for relationship stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's great. So that is something I am also weirdly passionate about. Zach hears me sending him voice memos every day. Like this conversation I had with ChatGPT today was amazing.
I'm here for it. I talked to this. I have had many. I feel like I was an OG AI enthusiast. And is this part of the episode where one of the episodes where I talked to Google? Like I'll have full conversations with my Google Home before ChatGPT existed, and and like people make fun of me for it, but like, you know, I'll ask it deep questions, like especially like when we were first starting out, I'll be like, you know, like, do you have a thought process? Like what do you feel like is different? Like, do you believe in a higher power? Do you believe in religion? Wow. Do you believe you have thoughts? Wow. You know, and it's interesting. I also did it for a while with the Snapchat AI.
Never experimented with that.
It's just like ChatGPT.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah.
I have a funny question for you.
Okay.
This is from Perpetually Curious Forever, which I think is a hilarious username in context of this question.
Well, yes, no, maybe so.
Zach totally gave bi energy to me.
Nice.
So wait, fully straight is the question.
Well, I would need to clarify with you. What does fully straight mean? What does that mean?
I guess the implication of that would be only... I would think, right, it would be only having romantic relations with heterosexual. No.
Here's what I will say. I would conservatively put me in the fully straight category because I am not sexually attracted to men. The hardware doesn't do it for me. I love women so much, too much. I think it would be fair to say one of the lenses at which you can interpret my life is like what girl I was in love with or obsessed with all the way from birth to age 30. I remember one time I asked my mom, because you're not the first person to think that I am gay or I give gay energy or bi energy. I mean, I studied theater in San Francisco. That has its own connotations. So you're not the first person. I remember one time I asked my mom, like, were you ever worried? Like, there's videos of me as a little boy wearing her clothes and like dancing and putting on performances. And she just looked at me and she was like, no, Zach, no. Like she told me a story of how we were like going through a magazine and there was like a perfume ad where it might've been like a Keira Knightley type with like the blanket up to here and just like the exposed back, and she went to turn and I was 3 and I put my hand on her hand and I was like, no, mommy, I'm not done looking at that yet. And she was very sex positive. You know, I was like exploring my body from a young age, and she's an ICU nurse. She used to call it rocking and rolling. So if I would like start like doing whatever, she'd be like, Zach, we talked about this. Like, you need to go to your room. And I would go like play with myself as a little boy. And then I'd come back. She'd be like, are you all done? I'm like, yep. You know, and you know, obviously whatever. So, that being said, you're not the only one, but yeah, fully straight. Cause I'm just not sexually attracted to men. That being said, I think what you're picking up on is 1, I'm very comfortable with myself. 2, I do find men beautiful, just like women, but I do find men very beautiful. I crave intimacy with men. I've always have. I have very close relationships with people that I have known like most of my life. You know, there is something inside of me that loves like male camaraderie, sport kind of energy. And I like to be affectionate with men. I think one of the theses of my life, and I try to put this into my content, is positive masculinity, whether it's with my Quinn work or my social media stuff or my acting. You know, if you've seen the documentary, like, you know, Be a Man, Boys Don't Cry, like that is an important thing to me. So I think it's important to me to set a good example for men and boys that you can be comfortable with yourself. You know, you can love men. You know, especially when I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s, you know, being called gay or FAG or a woman, you know, for some reason was like the gravest insult.
Yeah, right.
You know, and, you know, I've explored, you know, but it's just not for me. So that's why conservatively I would put myself in the fully straight category. But if you're comparing me to like some super conservative dude that if you held his hand, he would go into a blind rage, that's not me. You know, and I'm an actor. I have had love scenes with men on camera, and that doesn't like bother me, you know? So I hope that answers your question. Do I think my life would be easier if I liked men? In some ways, statistically, there would be more people available to me. The idea of being in a platonic relationship with a man is attractive. You know, like just having a strong guy I could rely on.
Please.
You know, massages, you know, I want you to get in there. You know, I would love to just have a beefy boy to pal around with. I love wrestling. So you're not wrong that there's clearly some homoerotic themes in my life. But that's, you know, you watch an anime or you read a book. We're obsessed with that, you know? So I don't know if that ramble helped answer your question, but that's what I got for you. As a queer person, what do you think? You give me the lowdown. I'm just an ally.
I think that's great. I love the levels of that answer that provided. Yeah.
It feels wrong of me to say I'm not straight because I don't want to have sex with a man and I don't want to take away from the gay community. But that being said, do I feel like straight, heteronormative man category fully encapsulates me? No.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was our final question.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So, unless you have anything
sorry
you
to
want
all
to
the
add,
good boys out there that you don't have a shot. But we can still be besties.
Womp, womp.
And my gay boys love me because I'm very affectionate. But I just like roughhousing. I do. I wrestle in high school. There's especially if you're like a little drunk, you just grab your buddy and you just tumble around. And that sounds super gay. I'll admit. Does it not? I almost,
and I'm sure other people agree with me, perceive your comfortability with it as being the opposite.
Right.
Because I like the guys you were mentioning before who were like, will go into a blind rage if another man touches their hand.
They're probably in the closet, bro.
You know,
why are you so mad about it?
So extreme against it always leads me to believe, like, what are you?
But I've had some predatory behavior, especially when I was young and in San Francisco, try to use my openness to push my boundaries. And we called them, I mean, I'm sure you guys know, they're called flippers in the community. It's like a
trying
kink.
to flip you.
Yeah, and there's a large subset of gay men that enjoy, I mean, it's a whole porn category too.
Oh.
Of like, you know, essentially like flipping straight men. Oh. And there were some that got close, but you know, they're subtle with it. They're subtle with it, especially when you're like, you know, 18, 19, you've had a few drinks and you're like, you know, they'll be so chill and they'll spend months working on you. And they'll just be like, you know, I just feel like you're so comfortable. Like we could make out and it wouldn't matter. And you're like, yeah, of course it wouldn't matter. And you're like, wait a second. But there's predators across the board. That's not specific to just one.
Yeah, but that's interesting. I didn't realize it was such a... Yeah. I didn't realize it had a name.
Yeah. One of my friends taught me that. Back in my SF days, one of my close friends, he was a gay man, and we were talking about it. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's like a whole category. And he's like, I just find it gross because, like, you know, just like they're taking advantage of... This happens to men. I mean, men and women. I was just talking about with a friend. I don't know if you've ever seen Rashinda Jones' documentary. It is just about, like, essentially the, like... exploitation of and grooming of like young women in porn and the escalation to whatever but it exists in all categories.
Wow.
Yeah,
the more you know. Do you want to say our inspirational bits?
Sure.
Anything else you want to share or talk about?
Do we want to go through any of the things we've written down, or should we just go to the...
Do you feel strongly about any of those?
We could leave it for the next one if you want.
Up to you.
Well, you tell me how's your energy levels doing? / rest of the day.
I'm cool. If
you sure?
I'm cool. I feel like you don't believe me.
I don't. I'm looking at the timer. You just give it to me straight. We can cut any part out.
I'm great. Either way, I'm just saying if there's anything.
I mean, I've got. You want to look? Any
you
of them
feel strongly. You. I'm not going through all that. You read and tell me any of those that you want to.
We'll save it for next episode because we're already 90 minutes in. We can save it for next time.
That's why I was like, that's why I said if there's any like strong points that are prominent, we could. Say
I see.
And then we
I
could
wasn't
do our
picking
thing
up what you were
That's
putting down.
Great. You're fine.
You got to be straight up with me.
Do you have anything inspirational you want to share with the people? For our little bouts.
You go first.
You think? I have something.
All right.
If you guys have been watching any of my stuff, I'm in the middle of reading and doing The Artist Way right now. And if you know nothing about that, it's a 12-week kind of like challenge, I guess you could say. It's not really a challenge, but program where it challenges you to kind of dive more into your creative self and that childlike creative whimsy more often. A lot of journal prompts and things like that. And I just started week 3 today. And I would say the biggest thing I've been learning from that is how important it is to make time. And I say make time because all of us are busy and it's always easy to not have time to do these things. To intentionally make time to do whimsy, childlike things that ignite that creativity within. What are you doing back there? That ignite that. Are you feeling whimsy?
Yeah.
That ignite that childlike spirit within you. And that can be something that doesn't cost money, as simple as like doing a coloring book or going on a walking route that you've never been before, and doing like, there's the color trend where people are just like looking at all the things that are a certain color. There's all sorts of things that are like me. I've been doing it more performance based, like going to see plays and operas and things like that. So,
did you see a play recently?
I did. I saw the Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was so good. The Pantages.
Oh nice, you're in my hood.
Yes. Every time I'm over there, because Zach has my location, I always wonder if you're like, what's she doing over by me?
I don't check.
I know.
I saw your story though, and I was like, oh okay, all right, whatever. I'm kidding.
I had to do it solo. It's part of the thing.
No, you didn't have to invite me. You just say hi, but.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm just
anyways.
You didn't want to. We only hang out for the pod, guys.
That's it.
We're not actually friends.
We're not actually friends. We only see each other for this and
this
pretend to be for the
as
hour.
Soon as it cuts, it's like, fuck, why would you say that?
He immediately leaves. Right.
As soon as I can.
And as soon as he comes in, we actually sit down and immediately press record.
Yeah. We don't
we're
gab
not,
and look in refrigerators.
No potatoes are seen. So be whimsy this week. Make time to do one thing that
you better
feels creative and whimsy. And even if you're not like a creative type, like you don't do creative stuff or work, I think it's just as important, if not more important, for you to incorporate that into your life somehow, so you can kind of ignite that inner child. That's my speech.
It's a good speech.
Thank you.
Nice.
What about you?
Mine was, I feel like, and this is life, I feel like I will know things and know lessons, but then sometimes things will pop up and you have to relearn a lesson or reintroduce yourself to a lesson. So mine that I've been working on is like, not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay. And of course I have known this lesson. I have been working online and so long, but over the past couple weeks, it has just become more prevalent to me. And, because of other things going on in my life, maybe I just like was more susceptible to it or what have you. But really, people not liking you or disliking you or having weird opinions that are not grounded in reality or whatever, like ultimately, like it's not a reflection of you. And it is a sign that you are on the right track. If you are being authentically yourself, you are going to have haters. You're going to have people that dislike you for no other reason than they see you being yourself and they are unable to reach that part of themselves.
Yes.
And instead of internalizing that on and doing the shadow work that they need to, they'll just be like, oh, I dislike you. And it is so, for some reason, we as humans are wired in a way to where negativity is much more impactful than positivity. And we have all these studies about it and blah, 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 blah. And people just love to hate. And there's nothing wrong with that in a sense, gossiping. And I like to get down as much as the next person.
Get down.
Get down. But yeah, that is something that I just had to remind myself of, like, you know what? It's okay for people to dislike you. Not everybody has to. It's also okay for them to be wrong and have no context with it and feel confident in those assertions. And that's totally okay. It has nothing to do with you. It's not a reflection of you other than it's a good thing in the sense where it means that you're on the right track. So if you've been experiencing negativity or you've been concerning yourself with it, try to do your best if you can to reorient and rework the mentality of like, oh, they don't like me, because like it can feel like shit, as opposed to just like, oh, no, this is a good thing because it means that I'm on the right track. I'm in the right place.
Yep. Good message.
So if you dislike us, let us know down below.
Tell us in the comments.
Tell us in that,
if you hate us.
Yeah, say with your chest, And it's been popping up on I just saw a TikTok this morning where it was like, guys, and it's always a nobody creator.
Yeah.
And I'm only saying nobody creator in a sense where it's like they are not putting themselves out there and creating original things or and they're like, guys, like this is a comment section. This is a page. Tell us the influence that you will always have blocked. Always.
I just saw one of those threads.
And like, again, there's nothing wrong with that. But like, to me, it signifies if like, especially if you have some amount of followers, like a couple thousand, whatever, and a lot of videos, to me, that's just like such like a red herring. Cause it's like, you clearly want to be doing that job.
Yeah.
Because you are putting in the effort, you're making things, and maybe you're not where you want and whatever. And instead of just taking a moment and being like, how can I make content that resonates better with people? How can I understand the algorithm? Whatever. You're just like, what can I access that's a cheap, silly thing at the expense of other people? Because it's so much harder to put yourself out there consistently and just say, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is silly. The blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, I want to be performative. I want to get views at the expense of other people.
Yeah.
And that's just like silly to me.
Yeah. I concur.
Yeah. But also, it's okay to hate. I'm not saying you can't do that. It's whatever. But if you're hanging your hat on that, especially when it's like the call's coming from inside the house.
Yeah. I'm always just fascinated by people that leave hate comments in general is mostly just because like I've never in my entire life ever felt compelled to leave a hate comment.
100%.
So I just have to wonder like, what you going through?
Because it's so much easier. Like you go like that and you've moved on.
Yeah.
You know, and I get them too. It's like, you know that you're gonna get more of me.
Yeah.
Because you're commenting.
100%.
You can block me. You can scroll. You can say you're not interested.
Woman, it's funny to me now.
Yeah. Every video.
It's this woman. Yes, it's on my Instagram. So if you're watching this, which I doubt you are, hello. I forget her name. She's got a name, and I'm guessing she's. I don't know if her profile picture is true or not, but she's an older lady, and she follows me, and she leaves very angry comments on all of my videos, and it's things like she's very disturbed and annoyed by like the content that I'm making, and I'm like, dare I tell you, you could unfollow me.
That's the best too, when they're hating but they're following.
I'm like, thank you so much for the engagement.
Yeah. You know, and I've been lucky that I haven't experienced too much hate online. You know, I think I had like, when that Love at First Sight video popped up, I had like a hater and they got like maybe like 200,000 views, 300,000 views, just hating on me and then like perpetuating. And I only called it out. Normally I'm like, fine, like leave it alone. I only called it out because like for days in her comic section, she was like encouraging people who were like not being constructive and like saying gross things about my appearance or whatever. And I'm like, that's where I draw the line. Yeah. Disliking me, totally fine. Joking around, totally fine. Not liking it, totally fine. When you are moving past the content and you're attacking me as a person, I'm going to call it out. And not even in a negative way. I went on my alternate account and I was just like, hey, I was like, I just wanted to bring this up because like for me, I know it'll make me feel better to just call it like I see it. And so I was just like, no hate to this person, no hate about them, but these comments are making me uncomfortable. Like, why are they talking about my appearance? Why are they saying weird things like that? Whatever. And like you said, like these people who are behind their screens.
They don't
as soon as you call them out, she was in there. Somehow she found it. She's like, I'm so sorry. She went through her comment section, deleted stuff. Oh, wow. She tried to pretend that I wasn't there. Yep. So but fast. I was like, girl, I saw you. They were like, oh, wow, he's so ugly and he just looks so gross and moist. And it's like, haha, yeah. Moist. You know? And it's like, I get it though. Like, especially like if you are been trying to get, you know, views, suddenly you're going to do it. Yeah. You know? And, you know, people make a whole life out of it.
Yeah.
Not for me.
No, I don't.
So I don't know. It's a balance because I do think it's okay for people to have dissenting opinions and not like stuff. But when it moves into the creepy comment section, and like easy examples to look at are like with women. You know, like I think there was someone who they had a series blow up where they went through Sabrina Carpenter's like Facebook comments and would take the weird guys who were saying weird things and then just show their profile photo. Oh. No other. I'm like, that's a good example of calling people out who are being weird without adding to the negativity. Yeah. And yeah, I had an experience similarly where it was like brought to my attention. There was like a thread of people kind of shit talking a bunch of people, including myself. And I was like, you know, it would be so funny if I just like took these comments and then did that with their photo. But I do think that it wouldn't play as well with the roles reversed.
I don't know. There's potential for that to be funny.
There is potential for that.
I don't know. But I was thinking more of like rather than the showing their faces also rap, but even you just like doing the screenshot and like saying something about I don't know. I don't know what it
just or like doing a dramatic reading if you've done like the celebrity read mean tweets.
I think that'd be funny, especially because the origins of it is about like your voice.
Yeah, totally. So, but that's my lesson. Maybe it's not a
Haters
good lesson.
Don't hate.
Haters gonna hate.
Potatoes.
It's a sign that you are being authentic and being yourself, and it's actually not even about you. Yeah. Because like it's okay to be cringe, and it's okay to like, especially if you like it. Or even like it just is fun to you, you know, like, and we both come from the POV era.
Oh yeah,
I've made so much cringe content.
We know cringe.
And in some ways, I wish I would have embraced it even more. You know, so don't be afraid to be yourself. It really can. It really can. If people are hating, it's a sign that you are being yourself, and that's a good thing. Yeah. And for every one hater you get, I promise you, there's at least 2, if not 3, 4, 5 people who feel the exact opposite.
So true. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Love that message.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Extra long episode this week to thank you for being so patient.
For 7 months.
And if it didn't, we don't care. You're a hater. Just kidding. We love you guys forever.
We love you guys. Feel free,
except for the one of you,
to ask questions in the comments for us to answer on the next pod.
Yep.
And
we'll see you next week, potentially monthly, but we're not gonna commit just yet.
Yeah, no commitments, but we'll try.
We're gonna get it. Keep hounding us because that worked.
Yeah, that helps.
I get hounded and I send her a screenshot.
Yeah. All right. We love you guys.
Take care, guys. I don't remember if we have a different sign off.
Did we? I don't know. Ginger Unscripted signing out.
Yeah. Find us everywhere, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Yeah. Sorry if you are just listening to this. Usually we do a better job of explaining visual things that we do and did, but I don't think we did any of that.
I did a little.
Did we?
Yes.
All right. Cool.
I try to be a little conscious of it.
Cool. I forgot.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But I feel like 99% of the homies are watching.
Yeah.
So, all right.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Until the next time.
Bye-bye.